Hi, darlings. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I'm so excited today. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. So, if this is your first time of seeing me, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I bet you love it here. And make sure you check more of my videos that I've uploaded. Look for dress tutorial playlist and then play that video out. So in today's tutorial, darlings, I will be making a very beautiful birthday dress for a client. Yes, and as per the thumbnail, you can tell it is very and really pretty. Yes, so I'll be making that dress today, so don't go anywhere. Grab onto your popcorn, your drinks, your fabric, draft along with me. Okay, so this is going to be a drafting and then a sewing tutorial. All right, so I'm going to take my time and do everything so that you guys will understand from A to Z. Okay, so let's not talk too much. Let's just go straight into the tutorial. So, darlings, in this video, okay, you will be needing your fabric. This is your main fabric for the flare, and we will be using this half stay. Okay, so this is the medium stay, and I'll be using this bridal satin, okay, for the top. Okay, and also I'll be using some net, and I'll be inserting some bracket. Right, so first of all, we go ahead by drafting. So stay tuned because we are going to be doing the drafting first before we do the cutting. Okay, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be exciting and really educative. I promise you, so stick by and then let's do this. Okay, so let's just begin. So guys, this is my start line like so. Okay, I'm going to begin by marking my vertical measurement. Okay, and because I'm using a bra cup, okay, I'm going to be using the measurement for the bra cup. All right, so if you want to insert a bra cup, what you need to do is you want to create a space around the bust area where the bra cup can sit inside. Okay, so from my shoulder to bust is 10 inches, and for the under bust is 10.5 inches. Shoulder to waist is 16 plus half inches for the joining. Okay, so I'm going to transfer the same measurement to this side. So shoulder to bust is 10, shoulder to under bust 13.5, shoulder to waist 16 plus half an inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to connect this point into a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to be drafting both the front and the back, okay, on the same paper, right? So that is why I'm marking and I'm extending the lines like that. So now, presuming this is my center front, okay, this is my center front. Now the next thing is to impute my shoulder measurement starting from this line. So I'm going to mark 8 inches for the shoulder measurement. Okay, so down on the 8 inches, I'm coming down by half an inch, and then the neck width is going to be 3.5. Okay, for the neck width 3.5, and then the neck depth is going to also be 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to connect these points together like so. Okay, and then from there I'm going to connect this to the slope that I came down by. So I came down by 1 inch, and then from there I am going to mark 7 inches for my armhole. Okay, you can mark 6.5, you can mark whatever you want, but I am marking 7 inches for the armhole. Now on that 7 inches line, okay, I'm going to mark the same 8 inches here, and I'm going to connect this, okay, so like so. All right, then I'm going to say it's my front armhole depth. Okay, so I'm coming out by a quarter inch, a half inch, sorry, and I'm going to create my armhole depth like so for the front. Okay, Okay, so right after I am done with that, I'm going to begin by marking my nipple to nipple point. Okay, so it is 4 inches. I'm not going to add any seam allowance because I'll be adding the seam allowance on my fabric when I'm cutting. So I've transferred the same measurement to my waist, and then I'm going to connect this into a straight line. Now on my under bust line, okay, so this is my bust, this is my under bust, and this is my waistline. This is my shoulder line. Okay, then this is my armhole. Okay, so on my under bust line, I'm coming out by 1 inches on both sides. I'm taking 1 inches depth on both sides, and I'm going to do the same thing to the waist. So I'm going to connect this point together like that. Okay, so once I am done with it, I'm just going to kind of connect this to my bust point like that. Okay, yes. So I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to connect to my bust point like so, and then on the this point, okay, I'm going to measure what I have there. I have 4.5, so I'm going to divide this by 2. So it's going to 2.25, and I'm going to connect it to my bust point line. Okay, now on this line, I'm going to come up by the same radius I came up by. So this 3.5 inches, I'm going up by the same 3.5 inches, or you could even do 3 depending. So on this point, I'm going to connect my, so this is my chest line. Okay, so on the chest line, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come here by 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch, and then 1 inch on this side, and then on this side I'll just connect it straight to my bust point, and on this side too I'm going to do the same connection to my bust point. So this is how it is going to be like. Okay, so I'm just going in to kind of remove any excess that I have. All right, so now that I am done with this, okay, okay, so so now that I am done with this, all right, so I'm now going to go ahead and impute my measurement. So I'm going to impute my measurement to mark it here, and I'm adding this dot, okay, which is 2 inches. All right, I'm adding it back. All right, yes, and then on my waistline, okay, so I am going to mark my waist measurement. Quarter of my waist measurement is 7 inches. Then remember these 2 inches that I took, so that is it. Then I will connect. Okay, so after connecting this like so, so this is it right now for the yoke. Okay, I'm going to come in from my neckline by 2.5 inches, or yes, by 2.5 inches. Okay, and I'm going to connect it to this point like that. Okay, so I'll just connect this to this point like that. Okay, all right, so after closing this, it should now I'm going to connect it to, I'm just going to use the original measurement, because we'll be closing the dart, and then it should sit somewhere around this area. So now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and return this 2 inches back. Okay, remember that you're going to be adding a yoke, and you don't want to be short of like any uh, you know, you don't want your yoke to look funny. Okay, so you want it to be as full as possible. So now this 3.6 inches, so I'm going to measure for this 3.6 inches for, and I'm going to mark. Okay, now this way, so I'm just going to bring it to the side. Okay, so now that is my knee. Now for the neck line, okay, I'm just coming down by 1 inch, and I'm going to blend this, okay, up like that for my center neckline. All right, so that is it for the yoke. Now we don't need this part of the yoke. Okay, so just cancel it out. Okay, yes, so this is our yoke. Okay, now we are going to add our allowance to this. So here I am going to add 1.5 inch. Here I'm going to add 2 inches to it, and I'm going to connect. Okay, yes, I know why I'm doing it that way. So you can choose to make your allowance equal anyhow you prefer it. It's okay by me. So yes, so that is how it should be. Okay, so now that I am done, we are going to indicate that we cut on fold. Okay, then you add 0.5 inches, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay, then you already have an allowance for the side and the width, so just go ahead and then remove the sharp corners from your draft. Okay, so just blend the sharp corners like that. Okay, so that is all for the front, and now we move to the back panel. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a straight line to demarcate my front from my back, and from there I'm going to mark 1 inch. Okay, yes, so now this will be my zip for the back. Okay, so this will be my center back. This is the center back. Now from there, just like we did for the front, I'm going to mark 8 inches for the shoulder. Okay, mark 1 inch down from there. Okay, and then I'm going to mark 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches for the back. Okay, though we will not be using the neckline here, we won't be using, but just to give us a guide to drafting our shoulders here. Okay, yes, so from there you give an armhole of 7 inches. Okay, then you, you, you extend the line, okay, like so. So you just measure whatever you have here. You mark 8 inches, your shoulder measurement, and then you connect. Okay, so after connecting, create your back armhole. Okay, so this is my back armhole. Right, now I'm going to be marking the same bust measurements here, but before that, so the next thing I'm going to do, please take note of that. Extend your zip to the back, and then I'm going to be removing my zipper bulge. Please take note of that. I'll come out from the original zip line by 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to blend this, okay, all the way to make this side, like so, removing my zipper bulge, and then I'll come in by 1/2 inch and then create a new zip line. Okay, so this now is my new zip line. See, it's slanted a bit. So now from there I'm going to mark my dart. So from the original line I'm going to mark my dart, and then I'll extend this, okay, all the way up, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides like so, and I'm going to connect this. Okay, all right, so after this I'm just going to measure my chest measurement, my bust measurement here. Okay, whatever I had, so it's 9.25. I'm going to transfer the same measurement here. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing on my bust. For the waist too, I'm going to mark right outside from there, and then my 1 inch is for the dart. All right, so I'm going to connect this point. I'm going to ignore my under bust line, connect this point like so. So now that I've connected this point, so it's 7% to 8 inches, Now so add your half inches that you took out from here, add it back and then connect. Okay, yes, so now we have our back block ready. Remember we came out from the main bust line by 3.5 inches, so I'm going to do the same thing to the back and then create our new neckline. So this is our new neckline. Now we are going to be determining the shape. So I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch and I'm going to connect this, okay, to meet. So this is the back shape. Now for the yoke, okay, like we did, we came out from there by 1.5 inch, and on that point I'm going to connect it all the way like so. So this is not that. So this is the yoke. So I'm going to indicate the back and the front. Okay. Alright, so now that you've extended, you just want to mark, extend this into the deep line like so. So, and also mind you, I'm going to be moving half an inch from out. I'm going to come up, okay, from the waistline by half an inch, and then I'm going to connect this to meet the side. Okay, so I'll connect this to meet the side, but I'm not cutting this out yet. Okay, I love to join my dart before I cut it out. Okay, so I'm just going to add my allowance to it. So it's 2 inches and then 2 inches on this side. So I'm just going to connect, and then that is it. Okay, so that is all for the back. Because the back, you're not going to be joining this, you're not going to be short of fabric, so I'm not going to extend. But this side, because of the dart, that is why I extended it to this side. Don't worry, when I'm sewing it, you'll understand where I'm coming from. So pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm cutting from this line, the new zip line. Okay, so I'm only going to cut this off after I have joined my dart together on the fabric. Okay, so this is not going to cut. Now I'm going to bring out my yoke. Okay, so for the circumference for my waist, okay, which is 28 inches. Okay, so plus 2 inches for the zip at the back. Okay, so this is going to be 30 inches for the circumference. So the circumference is 30 inches. Okay, so now to get your flare, you need to divide your 30 inches by the standard 6.28. Okay, and then once I did that, I'll get 4.7. Okay, now this 4.7, okay, I'm going to be adding the length of the skirt to it. The length of the skirt is, so I'm going to add the length of the skirt to this. So the length of my original skirt is 26. Okay, now to add this to it, we have um 30, okay, 30.7. Okay, so 30.7 approximately 30.8. Okay, so I'm just going to do this 31 inches. Okay, so this 31 inches, we are going to be using it to cut the length and then the breadth of the fabric. So let's get straight into that fabric. Okay, over I'm going to fold this. I'm going to fold on the wrong side. Okay, the width of this fabric is longer than the length of this fabric, so we'll be able to get 31 inches for the width but not the length. So we are going to be joining. Okay, I'm going to join in order to get the original, length of it. I'll just fold this. Okay, fold this and make sure that one side is longer than the other. Okay, because the length is not enough. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm going to measure if I have my 31 here. Okay, so now this 31 inches. Okay, so I'm going to square that up because you can join this before you cut. Okay, which is what I am going to do now. I'm going to measure the excess that I have, which is 16. This is a 16 and a half inches, but half inches to join, and so I'm going to be cutting 17 and a half inches. Okay, so because half inch is going to definitely leave this part, so I'm going to cut 17 and a half inches on fold, and I'm going to join it to this part. Okay, uh, so just like this, I'm going to place this onto it like so. So half inches away from it. Okay, half inches away from it. Okay. So just like that. Okay, so now we join it half an inch, but it's not sewn this yet. So now I'm going to start by marking my flare, my radius. Okay, so from this corner which I've folded into four, I'm going to mark 4.7. Okay, so 4.7, it should be somewhere here. Okay, so 4.7, and I'm going to transfer this to all of the sides. Okay, sorry, so I'm going to transfer this to all the sides like so, and I'm going to connect. Okay, so half inches to join it to the top part. All right, and then now you place your original length, which is 26 inches there, that's half an inch to join. Okay, now connect. Okay, mark all the way through, and then we are going to be cutting this out. So after cutting this out, we'll move to the next design. Guys, from this raw end, okay, I'm going to use that as my I'm going to mark 8 inches. Okay, for the length. Okay, from this bottom part, I'm going to mark 8 inches up. Okay, and then I'm going to square this up with a straight line. So now that I'm done with this, okay, I'm going to connect. I'm going to sort of come in by going to come in by like say 4.5 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to square this up, and then from that line I'm going to come up by 3.5 inch. Okay, and I'm going to connect this to this side like so. Okay, like that, and then from here to here I'm going to kind of connect this in a slopey form. Okay, not straight. Okay, you want to create that slopey effect. Okay, now the length of this fold should be at about 26 inches. Okay, right, so I'm just going to connect like so, and then from this 26 inches, okay, I'm now going to connect. Don't connect it with a straight line, just follow a freehand pattern. Okay, yes, so something like this won't be bad. All right, so I am going to cut this out. So this is it. Okay, we are going to sort of fold it. Okay, so we are going to fold this like so. We're going to do the same thing for, we're going to fold this. Okay, then you fold it again. Okay, like this. Okay, then you do the same thing to this side. Then now you bring the bottom part. I'll show you how it looks on the main fabric after we cut this out. So this is just a freehand. This is nothing serious. This is just a creativity. If you are creative enough, create your own, like, looking flowers in the front. So I'm going to attach a flare to this part after I'm going to be joining this with a flare. So you don't want to see what I'm talking about when and the down part completed. And I'm going to be cutting the flare for we have extra flare for the side or for the front of the dress. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting that. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly cut size that I'll be able to fit. Okay, so I'm going for uh, let's say 8 inches for the length of the flare. Okay, so 8 inches for the length of the flare, and so we are going to cut. I'm just going to map out 2 inches like so. Okay, yes, and then I'm going to join it, okay, by half an inch. So now for the length of the flare, let's make it 8 inches. Okay, so 7 inches would be better. So 7 inches for the length of the flare. Okay, we will just gather this in front of the dress. Okay, we'll just pleat this in front of the dress. Okay, so that is it. And then now I'm just going to cut out. Okay, let me add half an inch for the phone. Okay, okay, so I'll split this into two. Okay, so guys, finally the weight is over. Okay, so I cut two of this. Okay, which I've already lined one with a paper stay. So two for this pattern here, and also two for my flare. This I've already ironed this with a paper stay, and this is the lining for the flare. So we'll set this aside, and my top panel, and also my down part, that is the flare for the bottom part. I've ironed the paper stay all the way inside. Okay, and I cut an extra lining for this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the cutting of this tutorial. I'm going to be seeing you in the sewing tutorial, so please make sure that you turn on the bell notification and kindly subscribe. Make sure you like this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. That is the sewing of this video. So take care and have a lovely day. Bye bye.